doing?
Good. How are you? Oh, awesome. You all have mics. Beautiful.
Okay, yeah. My computer is a little, I don't know, survived some coffee spills, so the speaker doesn't work very well. So we got some mics.
That's awesome.
I love hearing the American accent again. It's bringing me back.
Yeah, I miss that. Whereabouts are you?
We're in San Diego, just south of LA.
Nice.
Yeah. Where are you guys at? You're in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, the most easterly point of Australia.
So you're all siblings.
We are.
As far as we know.
As far as you know, that's good.
My line. He stole it off me.
Oh, you haven't had a test to make sure?
No,
we don't like to see the truth.
No, we are. God.
We tend to hide from that as much as possible.
Yeah, but we have a few other siblings. Our little brother is 12. We're great siblings.
Prime 12.
But he's starting to play drums, so he might join the band soon. But
I was going to ask. Yeah, do you have a potential new member of the band?
Definitely. Yeah, we're working on. Yeah, definitely. He loves drums. Really loud rock and roll drums, so that's really fun.
Right
all the
outside
time.
my bedroom.
You sing and play guitar, and then Molly, you play like keys and stuff, right?
Yeah, mandolin, keys.
And you're on the electric, Lachlan?
Yep. Electric guitar.
Right on. So who's drumming for you guys? Are you just training your brother to become the drummer?
Yeah, I mean, we have a friend of ours that lives down the road. He actually went to high school with Lachlan.
I grew up with him in high school, so I was like, dude, come join our band, please.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he plays drums, and then we kind of switch around bass players. But right now, because we're in isolation, we kind of Dylan's become the drummer. I've become the bass player because we have this rusty old bass that started playing just so we can play and make some music. So we've kind of adopted all these new instruments being stuck together.
Oh yeah, you guys are under quarantine as well, I would assume.
Yeah,
it's not as full on as where you guys are at, I don't think.
Everyone around here is quite the nicest way to put it, lazy.
We're in a pretty chilled out area, so I mean people are still doing what they want, I guess.
Yeah, but, everyone's mentality around here is like, no, it can't reach us. We're like too far out, and like
no, but mum's a nurse, so she's like, everyone stay inside. Like, I don't even want you guys going to the shops. So yeah, it's really fun being stuck in this little house together.
Well, at least you guys can all jam together.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that we have music. Definitely. I always wonder like what we would do if we didn't have like a hobby like that or a passion that what do you do when you're bored? Like we can always write a song or always just play music, which is lots of fun. It's great.
That's awesome. So I want to talk to you guys. So how did you all get into music? Was it, I mean, you're different ages, so probably different stages in your life, and then you formed your band. So I like maybe individually, how did Molly, how did you get into music?
Well, for me, like I was born, like we were born into like a musical family. I mean, we were never pushed. Yeah, well, all of us actually.
What about your parents?
They're
okay.
Yeah.
Our dad was like a drummer back in the 80s for one of Australia's big rock and roll bands. And so music was always just around us. And then he was a piano player and, he sings in like a 12-piece big band as well. So like we have so many like different styles of music around us all the time and just musicians around us. Like our guitar teacher for a long time was a guy called James T, who from Canned Heat. So he taught us like the blues and stuff. So we've just had all of this music around us all the time. So it's just kind of natural to pick up instruments because they were always there.
Yeah, they were always, every corner of the house. So it was such a natural progression to pick them up and just all start playing together and jump on the drums. I think Sarah's first instrument was the drums, actually.
Yeah. Actually, I think when I was about like 10 or something, like I just like had to play drums. And I needed a cherry red drum kit, so I got that for Christmas. And then suddenly, like a month later, I'm like, I have to start playing guitar and start singing. And then I started, and then I suddenly switched to guitar. So now that red drum kit is my younger brother's.
Oh, nice. So Molly, what was your first instrument you picked up? Was it piano?
Probably actually, because Dad was a piano player at that time, and so he kind of showed us the 12-bar blues and just like sing jailhouse rock or whatever.
The Blues Brothers were a big influence.
Yeah. And so I guess the 12-bar blues were the first instrument and thing I ever learned. And then like guitar. And then we had these jam sessions when we were really little at our local pub. And our hillbilly Robbie, our like neighbor over the hill, because we lived on a farm, he brung a mandolin. I was like, oh my God, what is that? That looks sick. And he taught me. I was like, pretty easy, like the C, F, and G. And I'm like, I need a mandolin now. And so then I just started playing mandolin, brought in the organ. I actually started playing violin as well because it's like the same, but it's not. It's harder, but that's okay. And yeah.
Nice. And then Sarah, you said you started with drums and then picked up a guitar?
Yeah, so so drums, I mean, like I said, we always just had musical instruments around, so we always kind of sung and played piano a little bit. Like Molly said, like the 12-bar blues and that classic like Sweet Home Chicago style was a big like some of the first music we all learnt. But then when I was about 11 years old is when I really started, like, got the bug and just like didn't think about anything else except songwriting and playing guitar and singing songs and all of that. And so since then, that's kind of been, you know, my main, you know, the thing that I do and passion. So that's when it about kicked in. And we went to, I went to the Tamworth Country Music Festival. I think I was 11 with our older brother, and went into some of the talent competitions there and just kind of saw this whole other world that I didn't really know existed, with all the, you know, young people singing, you know, country music was a big influence on us as well. So just seeing other people my age doing that was a big thing. So then we came back and then kind of started the family band thing. We're like, oh, why don't we give this a go? We busked at the next year's like Tamworth Country Music Festival and a few other festivals. And yeah, and
it's kind of 2011. That's where the Buckleys kind of got the ball rolling, and we're like, why don't we actually try do this thing as a career? I mean, we were so young, but we were thinking that. But yeah, that's pretty.
Well, you said you got the bug around 11. Was there a particular moment that, or something that you saw on TV, or something that sparked that for you?
I mean, I remember like the first like really intense like passion thing. I like for some reason wanted to like learn Hallelujah on the piano, and it was for my year 6 like talent competition, and I was like, Dad, I have to learn Hallelujah on the piano. I don't know why. And so that was like, I just focused on that for like, you know, a month or however long it took to learn that.
Yeah, that's an epic song.
Yeah, I'd never really played piano. I don't know why that was. Yeah. And well, it's funny as well because that's Jeff Buckley, obviously.
You're right.
It was the last name. But yeah, so that's kind of the first thing. And then since then, that like year 6 talent show, I just started learning guitar and, you know, learning songs and then writing songs after that. And Lachlan actually played bass originally in the band, and then you know, discovered guitar, and, you know, he has a lot of you know, rock and roll and all of those influences. Do you want to say something? You're kicking me. Lachlan's kicking me.
Lachlan, so the first instrument you picked up was bass, or was it guitar?
Yeah, I started on bass. I'm like, oh, that's 4 strings. That looks really easy. And then like I was like, oh, it's actually not that easy. And then I saw, you know, Black Betty, the song.
Yeah, Black Betty by Ram Jam.
By Ram Jam. I was watching that, and I saw a Gibson Les Paul. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And the dude that was playing it was like so good at playing it. And then that's just when like the ball started rolling for guitar. And I got into Jimi Hendrix and all like 70s and 60s stuff for like 3 years straight. That's all I was listening to. And and then the addiction kicked in. And I haven't been able to stop spending money on that stuff
since then. That's great. So you were into like more of the classic rock stuff. Is that how you kind of morphed into this like country? You guys call it like hippie country, right? Or
it's funny, like, because we listen to like funk, rock, soul, like a bit of jazz,
everything.
and like even like the old hippie country stuff, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Joni Mitchell, all that stuff. And like we kind of just try and incorporate everything into like different songs and like
Yeah, I mean, the most like important thing for us is just being authentic. And I remember like there was a time when we were a little younger and discovering, who we want to be, sonically, and kind of chasing, like trying to be like everyone else in, a certain genre, or, whoever we looked up to at the time, because you're so young and you're looking up to, the people that you love. But then I think it was like actually in Nashville, I was watching the Tom Petty documentary. It was about probably 5 years ago. And I just like something clicked and I was like, oh my God, like I was just so inspired by that. And we had grown up listening to all that music, the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, all of that. And then all the influences Lachlan said, like, why are we trying to be like these other people? Why don't we just, be really authentic, incorporate all the things that we love and create music that we love, and the priority being just writing the best songs we can, being the best at our instruments that we can, and where the music goes that'll develop and evolve, and that's the exciting part of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, here's what we create and you guys kind of decide where to put it, like what little
you have a little box to put it in.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fun. That's a fun way of doing it, I reckon.
Yeah, and that's like, we're always so like inspired by music and the new music we discover and old music that, we're discovering still. And we just want to, keep being really excited and inspired by music and, not try to fit into any sort of label. And this hippie country thing kind of developed because I was in Nashville and we had this, different kind of sound and slant on what we were doing, and people were like, when you go into writing sessions, they're like, okay, so what's the genre, or what are you doing? And it was kind of hard to explain. And then one of our good friends who I wrote Daydream with and I wrote Money with, he started saying to people when we would be in sessions, like, oh yeah, they're kind of hippie country, because we come from Byron Bay, which is a very hippie area, and we have a lot of we're real instruments when we're recording. We often track fairly live as well. Like Money with the band, and it's very band orientated.
That really captures the whole energy.
Yeah, of like the energy of like a lot of the 70s stuff we love, and obviously the fashion is probably a part of that as well. And so that's where the hippie country genre or brand kind of started being what we were.
Did you catch Lachlan's flares in Money?
Yeah, I love the video it's kind of like a documentary. It's like the Buckleys documentary, and then it goes into the video at the pool and stuff. I thought that was such a rad video, and it totally gives you the Brady Bunch 70s vibe to it.
Oh my God, that's legend. Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like I saw on your guys' Instagram, you had the girl that was doing the makeup, and she was doing makeup on you, Sarah. Then she was kind of talking about the vibe of what she was going for, and it totally worked.
Oh man, thank you.
I have a quick, this is going to be kind of off topic, but so is there was that just like a mockumentary, or are you guys putting out something that's really like a documentary?
Yeah, no, we are putting out like a documentary coming soon.
Cool.
I know it's super weird.
It's super funny because we have all this archival footage, right, from when we were like back in 2011 when we were going to the Tamworth Country Music Festival and traveling to all these places. We just like filmed a lot of it. And so Chris Murphy, the label head, he saw a little bit of the footage that we posted on Instagram. He's like, oh my God, this is great. This is gold. Like, how much more do you have? And we're like, we've got like a terabytes of footage.
Oh man.
So when I say weird, I don't mean it's weird. It's weird me seeing, us in a documentary about ourselves and people like making it a thing. Cause that's all just like our old home videos. And
that's cool.
So it's really funny. But it is a really, I think, cool journey, and hopefully it will inspire a lot of, younger people as well to start, picking up instruments and, or just whatever their passion is, just following it. And just doing what you want.
Yeah, that's cool.
What we do.
So you said you went to the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and that's kind of what sparked starting the band. Is that what you said?
So yeah, we were actually at Tamworth Country Music Festival, our first time camping as 7 people.
So this is like a big like I'm not familiar with it. So is it like Bonnaroo or something where you go camp there and stay a couple days?
Yeah. It's all around the town of Tamworth, which is like in the middle of nowhere. But like everyone goes. There's like tens of thousands of people go. I don't know what the actual number is.
Like one of the biggest
music festivals in Australia.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we would go there and camp there, and then we would just busk.
And it's also like the hottest time of the year, and we were camping.
Oh really?
yeah.
You've
it was
never
really
experienced anything like it. If you've been trapped in a car, I don't know if you were trapped, but if you were trapped in a car in the middle of the sun in summer for an hour, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but there's really good music, so that's why everyone goes.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's like Coachella out here, where people camp and hot, and it's just gross camping situations, but people do it because there's rad music going on.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we were there at our first year, and you need a busking permit. So Dad signed us up for getting a busking permit, and so we went out and busked. And when you got the permit, it automatically enters you into the busking competition, which means you can play on the biggest stage in Tamworth in front of a good crowd.
But we didn't know that at the time, that when you have a busking permit, you're entered into this competition. Yeah. So we were just busking because I don't know, we needed to make
petrol money
make
home,
a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Dad's like, go busking so we can get petrol money.
Yeah. And so we ended up getting top 10.
Well, how does that work? They just sent somebody around and went,
I guess there's
scouts.
Like scouts. So they might have to walk around and just act like they're throwing some money in or watching you, and then they secretly kind of scorecard you.
I guess exactly. They're just going around because it's basically like Hill Street. So it's like one long strip on a street, and there's just like buskers everywhere.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
like heaps of venues with cool acts playing in them as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we ended up coming top 10, and we played on that big, Toyota Park stage. That was the biggest stage we had played on at that point. Like a couple thousand people, I think, were in the audience. And so that's where we probably started. I think I was like 12 or something like that.
I would have been 9, and we're like, this is like awesome.
Whoa.
We want to do more of this.
We did. I think we did Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry.
It was so
I was going to ask, did you have like songs together, or were you just doing all covers?
We had a couple originals. We did have a couple originals. There was one that we played a lot called Hillbilly Robbie, which was me and Molly's first song that we ever wrote together about Hillbilly Robbie, our old
your neighbor
who taught me mandolin. Yeah. So we had that song that we played, which is this like bluegrass song. And actually that song is in the documentary that's coming out, so we'll see that soon. Yep.
Awesome.
And then Johnny Be Good, because we always loved all that.
That was wild. We were just jamming. Like there were thousands of people in the audience, I'm pretty sure, and we were just no rehearsals, just jamming. I was like in shorts and a t-shirt with bare feet.
And like little chipmunk voices,
on this massive stage, like what's going on right now?
So out of our element, but it was amazing.
That is cool though. So from there, was that at like, okay, we just got selected to play this huge stage, we should probably do something with this?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we just loved it, and we love music. We've always been around music, so it was natural to do it. Like some families, we always say go horse riding or water skiing or whatever they do. But we always just kind of had music in the family, so it was just what we did. And then we started applying for festivals and really making it a thing. And it's just kind of grown from there. And, we had this, Nashville was big focus when we were younger.
For sure. Actually, is this a tin?
No, it doesn't say it on there. We had this old like tin when, I think about right at that time, we're like, okay, we got to get to Nashville by the time I'm 16 years old. So that was just the goal. And we saved up everything. And then we busked, we went to festivals, and we literally put everything in that jar, to the point where like people would give us money and be like,
please go spend it on something else. Don't save it. Which I don't think many kids hear that. But yeah, so we ended up saving enough money for like the airfares and stuff, and so we lugged the whole family over.
And you guys all went to Nashville.
Yeah, we did. And that's, another big kind of moment in our journey that kind of changed the directory? I forgot that word.
Just a big milestone.
Yeah, a big milestone.
A big milestone for us as a band to hit, for sure.
Yeah.
And you did that all just by gigging around your town and playing?
Yeah, I mean, it was about a 4 to 5 year long process.
But still, that's cool.
Yeah, Christmas, and at that point, everything, busking.
And at that point, you kind of had the band together, and you were, playing out and just trying to get that money. Yeah. Did you have a goal when you got to Nashville? Or did you have
I mean, the goal probably get to Nashville and play as long as we can.
We didn't really have a plan, to be honest, when we got there. We had like one gig maybe booked, and we're like, we'll just see what it's like when we get there and wing it.
Yeah, but we got offered to play the Bluebird by one of our gigs.
Yeah,
as well.
one of the gigs we got this. That probably like hardly anyone in the audience, but the one person that was there was putting on this function at the Bluebird Cafe, which is like an infamous.
Infamous, famous.
Oh right, yeah.
I knew what you were saying.
Thank you. Anyways, it's like this big cafe, and. Yeah.
So we got invited to play the Bluebird Cafe, which was, another massive thing. And, that's just kind of how Nashville works. We quickly discovered you never know who's in the audience, and everything just, if you do something and something happens and grows from that. And, we sent out a bunch of emails and called, everyone we could to try to get any gigs before we left to go to Nashville. This was back in 2016. And we got a gig at a place called the Douglas Corner, which the bartender there, her name was Debbie Throckmorton, and she, begged the boss to let us play when we sent in our little video, and she got us the gig there, and then we met her, and she is the daughter of Sonny Throckmorton, who's a really famous songwriter in Nashville, and wrote. George Strait songs and Willie Nelson and Mel Haggard, a lot of famous stuff. And so she had a lot of friends that were obviously songwriters and had written these classic songs that we had grown up listening to, like Brice Chanel, who wrote Hey Baby, I Don't Know If You'll Be My Girl.
That was like a really insane moment, because these were like our first ever co-writes, except from each other.
Ray Van Hoy, who wrote, Tanya Tucker songs and, a lot of awesome stuff. And so those were our first co-writes. We just started co-writing with a whole bunch of people, with Debbie, and she actually just won a Grammy Award, her first Grammy Award for Willie Nelson song, which is amazing for her, and she deserves that so much. But so she kind of took us under her wing, and then songwriting was kind of the big thing that started over there for me and Molly, and I've been going back many times since then, and we love it over there. Just so much music all the time. It's everything we dreamed of, and we love it.
Yeah, and you got to work with the engineer that worked with like Taylor Swift and stuff too, right? How did you meet up with him?
Well, so Chad Carlson is I was writing with a good friend, Melissa Fuller, and we were talking about like, we're looking for a producer. And she said, oh, well, my neighbor is a producer. Why don't we go over to his house and talk to him? And I was like, okay, sure. And then I get there and there's a Grammy, Taylor Swift's album of the year, and a Grammy is on the wall.
Gosh.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, hey, Chad. And so anyway, he, loved everything. And
came to one of our shows. We were playing at, where was it?
Yeah, at the Mercy Lounge. And so then we recorded Daydream and I'm Comin For Ya. And then I came back to Australia. We did the music video for Daydream with a good buddy of ours, Brenton Thwaite. And then we met Chris Murphy and signed our record deal with Petrol Records and Universal, and they put it out at about the middle of last year. So it was really super organic, and just the way that whole thing panned out was pretty incredible.
You have a full length coming out though this year, right? Later this year?
We have a whole album coming out. We did 10 songs in Nashville in I think 9 days.
Wow.
Insane. Yeah, it was really quick, but like so good. And I went over there about a week earlier before these guys went and tried to write as many songs as I could.
We had like the album, right? And she went over a week before us and rewrote probably over half of the album. I mean, like the songs are awesome, so we're glad she did. But like, oh my God, it was so funny. We're like getting on the plane the next day to go record, and we like have to learn this whole new thing.
Oh my gosh.
No, we absolutely loved recording this album because it's our first album we've done. And like we were saying before, all the influences we've been brought up with. And so to kind of be able to really explore that and all these songs and kind of navigate our way through it.
And we really approached it like we were making an album like in the 70s where it's a real body of work and not every song on there is a single. There's, songs on there that are that we love and will probably be some people's favorite songs on there, but are kind of curveballs and, it's a real journey, which we really wanted to do.
Instead of making an album just like one genre base, we'll just try and make the funk come out in some songs, some rock, some country.
Yeah, just sprinkled colors. Just kind of, like I said, just being really authentic to who we are was, the most important thing, and the hippie country thing. And Chad Carlson, helped, bring it into one cohesive thing so it doesn't sound like, there's everything happening all over the place.
If it was up to us, we would have just... No,
but so it's really, really exciting, and we can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome that you got to record the whole record in Nashville. I mean, that's like the heart of country music. And
we recorded it at the Sound Emporium Studios, which is where like Kenny Rogers obviously passed away this week. He recorded The Gambler there, and a lot of Willie Nelson and Little Big Town songs that we love.
Actually, on the album, they have this mandolin hanging up on the wall at Sound Emporium, and it's Cowboy Jack Clemens mandolin, and he organized like the horn lines for Johnny Cash
Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire.
Started I think he founded the Sound Emporium Studios.
Wow.
And because my mandolin like broke the day I had to lay it down on the album, and awesome. And so someone walked out and said, "Can we use this mandolin?" And they brought it into me. I was like, I don't like, oh my gosh, I have to tune it. I didn't want to tune it though. Like, imagine breaking that string. Like, no.
Oh man, yeah.
Anyway, so
like, can you fix this?
Exactly. I played it on the whole album, which was incredible, and it's such an amazing sounding mandolin.
Oh yeah.
Way better than your one.
100%.
Yeah,
that's cool.
and then another thing that was really awesome is Lachlan played, live in the room with all the musicians. So these, it's some of the best musicians in the world. Lachlan sat in and jammed with, and that's what you hear on the record. So
that's exciting. You've done like big festivals and stuff, right?
Yeah. We do a lot of festivals, and then we do some tours as well with some other acts. And we kind of play as much as we can. We love that's one of our definitely favorite parts of the whole thing is the live playing.
Sure. Yeah. Did you guys get to experience that at young kids? Like, was your dad still playing and touring when you guys were young?
We used to be like, because he'd do some shows up and down the East Coast where we live. And like so many nights we'd just be at a pub, he'd be playing drums or piano, and I'd just like fall asleep backstage on this stage behind where the amplifiers are.
Yeah, I remember he played this big festival in Australia with one of the bands he was in called the Gimpy Muster, and I like fell asleep like under like the behind the bass drum.
That's just what we did. It was just like, okay, we're just gonna be here for the next couple of hours. I'm tired, I'm gonna go to sleep on the stage now.
Is it hard being in the same van with you guys? Like, because you're all siblings, you grew up, you live together. Is it different being in like a van together?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it can be interesting because we are siblings. But most of the time we get on pretty well. It's good because we can be super
just brutally honest with each other, especially in rehearsals, because that's when everyone is like putting out all their ideas and most passionate, I feel like. And so you're like saying all this stuff and you're just like, no, just like shut down.
We don't have to sugarcoat it, which is
right.
good.
Yeah, that's I never thought of that. But yeah, you don't have to worry really about offending anyone because you're like, well.
Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't sound good. Can you just shut up?
Yeah. But then that's where sometimes the little things start, because like no one wants to be told what to do by their siblings. Like Lachlan doesn't want to be told by his sister what to play on guitar.
Right.
It's also like you play the silent treatment with each other then, and then you just get sick of it because like we all love like laughing together and like cracking jokes and making everyone laugh, and so you just get bored of not talking to one another, and it passes in like 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the early tours that you guys did, since you guys were all pretty young. Especially years ago. How did that work? Did your parents have to take you, or?
Yeah, we forced our parents to take us anywhere we wanted to play, which they did. Very lucky we have such supportive parents. So yeah, we would play anywhere. We actually, with the sibling thing, it's pretty funny because we used to, be on stage and not write set lists, and we'd be on stage and like I would want to play an original song and Lachlan's like, no, I want to play Jailhouse
Rock.
Yeah. And so we'd have these little arguments on stage in front of an audience.
That's funny.
So clearly it's like 3 minutes. Sarah's like, all right, we're gonna do our original. I'm like, no, let's do Jailhouse Rock. It's like, no, and we're just like, yes, no, just back.
And then Dad used to play drums with us at that point, and he'd be just sitting there smiling, like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, that's funny. Oh, so he played with you guys early on.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid we couldn't afford another drummer. So yeah, he was the cheapest answer.
Yeah,
and he was, obviously an amazing drummer. Yeah. He is an amazing drummer,
right?
So yeah, he definitely, he used to play with us, and then he sacked himself. I think he couldn't deal with it anymore.
He's like, guys, I'll be the roadie or something.
Did he get to get in the studio with you guys when you were in Nashville?
No. Not in the studio, but we used to.
If he'd be able to give you ideas or pointers or something.
Not really. Yeah, he likes to kind of let us do our thing.
Cool.
And so that's but we used to play like we had made recorded songs when we were really, really young. Like he had a friend that lived down the road that had a recording studio. So back in that original time where I was about 12 years old, 13, 14, we would record songs and he would play drums or piano or whatever. But our parents have been a big massive support.
And it was really lucky because he was in the industry for so long to have someone so close to you that knew kind of the ropes and could guide us through difficult areas of like when we're recording or something. So yeah, it's awesome.
That is cool. So so you went from Australia, you went out to Nashville, then you came back home, then you went back and recorded the record. Between then, like I saw that you were on like Today Show and
the Today Show, I was in Nashville, and the CMA Awards were happening at the same time. I was there, and so we went to the CMA Awards. And we were supposed to do an interview there, and we have our publicist and Chris Murphy as well. So we were there, and then I don't know, the next day they kind of called up the producer and said, "Oh, does Sarah want to come and do an interview on Broadway or something?" We had the Daydream out, and we were recording our album at the same time. And Richard Wilkins, actually, who did the interview, he used to play in a band with Dad back in the 80s. Richard
with your
Wild
dad?
Band. Yeah, with our dad used to be the drummer. So when Dad was like 18 years old, he played in Richard's band. And so it was really funny because I was then there 20 years old in Nashville being interviewed by the one of Dad's old bandmates on the Today Show. So it was pretty that was a really funny connection.
Oh man, did he know that before He interviewed you or no?
Yeah, he did, because I think Chris Murphy, our label head, was at like a function like a few months before then, and had spoken to Richard and said, oh, working to sign this new band called the Buckleys. And I think Richard was like, Buckleys? The only Buckley I know is Mick Buckley. He used to be a great drummer from the 80s, played in my band.
Yeah.
And then Richard knew about us and, discovered our music, and, he's been really awesome and supportive. But yeah, it's just a really funny thing.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Awesome.
That's crazy. Like, yeah, not in a million years would you ever think that would happen.
Yeah.
Cool. So you have the record coming out later this year. I know everyone's kind of in shutdown mode right now, but what do you guys have planned?
Well, yeah, we have the record coming out. I'm not sure what the date is. We hadn't set a date yet, so I don't know what the timing is going to be like with everything going on. But and some singles as well before then. And everything's a little, what are we going to do?
Up in the air, kind of, yeah.
In the situation, because we had touring plans and all that we had to cancel or postpone. So that's a little unfortunate, but we're just keeping positive. Everything, it's good. We have social media, and the world is so digitalized, so we can keep creating content and writing a lot of new music. So doing that, and we have some social media stuff coming out that we've been working on.
Cool.
Just kind of trying to bring as much joy to everyone else that we can, and some positivity and distractions.
Yeah.
Music alive.
Yeah. So
are you guys doing anything like those like artists that have been doing like streaming stuff? Like, do you have any of that planned?
Yeah, definitely. We have some like streaming projects and some things that I'm not sure when we're gonna like release and announce it all, but we have something really exciting coming.
That's
up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're excited. My last question for you guys, actually, I was going to ask you individually, if that's fine. Was if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh, it's hard because we asked. We're
still. You're signed to a label. You've made it. You made it out to Nashville and recorded a record.
That's true. We have done that, haven't we?
Have singles.
Like the biggest thing that I've learned, and what we're doing, and we're still learning a lot, obviously, as we go. But I think the most important thing for us, and for me at least, is just kind of really doing what you believe in. And if you have a vision or a direction, you take the advice on of other people, but also like you kind of know in your heart what works. And especially when it comes to the music, like I think it's really important to be authentic, and people can hear that when you're being true to who you are. And everyone has a story and a journey, and everyone's different in their own way. So I think it's really important to just follow that,
and just finding your uniqueness and being like just really true to yourself, I guess.
Yeah, what they said.